Hello, day 35 is now done. Today was kind of fun one. I got into some of the physics stuff and kinetic energy and things like that for the projectiles from the weapon we created. And I did some kind of fun stuff. We'll get right into it first. I ended up adding kinetic energy basically to the weapon. So it's actually on this side of the blueprints here, where we are now tracking the impact point and the trace start and end, and then applying some force using a variable called weapon power to the location that is hit by the projectile. Um, and works quite well actually. So I guess I'll show that off real quick. And that was not what I wanted to do. Let's try this again. There we go. Start off right here, pick up the gun, and try it again. Here we go. So I had this little shelf thing with a couple objects to shoot, and all these objects are just Megascan objects, except for the sphere, which is part of the project. Enabled collision on them, and also, actually I can just show this real quick with some of these. So for instance, I had the chicken nugget. It's pretty small. I scaled it up. So I had to add collision to it, which you can see. And then also, once you've got it placed in the map, you need to add, oh, I'm still playing, okay. You had to add, turn on physics for it, so it actually has weight and can move around and stuff, make it movable. So now, if you shoot it, it falls over and has some kind of thing. You see the green and red here too? The red is where the impact stops, the projectile stops. The green shows that that's just the line tracing where it would have gone if it hadn't stopped. Also kind of good information. These are heavier than others, so that was a lot of fun picking that up. And for fun, I also added one more thing that isn't really easy to show, but I added I wanted to be able, well, okay, the first problem I had is when I started this, the projectile was still coming out of the end of the gun. Wherever the gun was aiming is where the projectile went. But the problem was the camera controls are not tied to the gun direction, and so I couldn't aim the gun while playing. So I had to go back and switch it to, I think it's right here actually, switch it to, rather than being the end of the gun, to actually go back to the camera. So it's checking where the bullet now starts in the middle of the camera rather than the middle of the end of the gun. But I also want to be able to shoot hip fire, and so I needed to be able to control or send through the location of the center of the screen, and also the forward vector of the screen of the camera itself. But the problem with that is there's two cameras. There's the ADS camera and the follow camera. At the moment, we're only using the ADS camera, or allowing the player to fire in the ADS camera. But I wanted the flexibility of that to maybe introduce hip fire later on. So I did that. I actually found a select statement that allows multiple inputs to false and true inputs. So I put in right over here, a new variable called ADS camera is active. And it gets set to true when the ADS camera is actually active, and it gets set to false when the follow camera is active. And by taking that information, we can now know when the character fires the weapon, which camera is active. If the ADS camera is active, it's true, so the boolean here is true. It then sends that the camera information to, like, the location and the forward vector to the rest of this blueprint here. And if it's false, if it's inactive, then the follow camera will then send the war location forward vector where the projectile is starting from the center of the screen. I thought that was kind of a clever way and a really simple way to kind of switch back and forth. So kind of long-winded video here, but it all turned out really well, and I like the way it works. I keep forgetting to do this the other way around. Yeah, so pretty cool. Next up is going to be working on some more adding health points to stuff, and then adding some destruction stuff to a bunch of different objects in the game. So a lot of fun. Thanks again.